Welcome guys to another Peripheral recap, review and breakdown. Oh yes, today we're on episode 6. Let's get straight into it. We start this episode in 2028 where we meet Burton and his crew and our old friend Connor as he makes a regrettable decision to help a covered dog in barbed wire, which seems to fuel his PTSD. We then get our first glimpse at Inspector Lowbeer as she meanders around a bit of a fake scene as she gets her instructions for the task ahead. We're then thrown back to Deputy Tommy as he's asked to take a step aside, but he notices those pesky cowboy boots that we saw in the previous episode.
We then jump to the future to see a very fake and derelict London. Finn slowly starts to uncover more truths about the future now. As Finn and Wilf explore London, they start to trace down some leads that might lead to Alita. This leads us to a butcher's shop with very Sweeney Todd vibes. We are in London after all. They seem to offer services for some kind of body part replacement, but after a little bit of conversation, things start to kick off and we get this amazing fight scene with knives everywhere. It's brilliant.
Speaking of epic scenes, we get another trick shot from our mate Connor. Ooh, and now that makes it 3 so far in the series. We're watching you. Anyway, we see the hactics that he used in some kind of new memory drug abuse. I'm not quite sure what that was. Pickett has a new guest over with a lovely electric collar, but things soon get a little bit fishy. And then finally, Lowbeer requests to see all the peripherals, and we end up with her confronting Flynn, Connor, and Burton in the future. So, with that little introduction that we had at the final bit of the episode, Steve, what do you think of Lowbeer?
Oh my god, man. What a character. Like, we first saw her in the glimpse last week, and then you're like, oh, she's a bit Sherlock Holmesy. Yeah. Oh my god, when you actually get a full scene with her, she's fantastic, mate.
She was intense, wasn't she?
Oh my god, she's clearly like, she's playing 4D chess and everyone else is still playing checkers, mate. Like, she's like completely all over him. It was amazing. I love the fact she's just sitting there like, oh, you can call your solicitors in and this is how it's going to go down. You know, Wilf's probably going to die, and on the way, before he dies, he's probably going to give you guys up, or we can do something else. I just love... They're so scared of her.
It was like that Sherlock Moriarty style conversation, wasn't it? That's the vibes I got. You know, very intelligent woman. I think she's one to watch for.
Yeah, so I think with that, I think she's going to try and take down Dr. Newland. I think that's where she's going. She's like, I could take down these small criminal crimes, or I can try and take down the research institute.
So that's the big fish that she wants.
That's what I think. I think what other big fishes are out there other than
I get it.
Dr. Newland and that research facility, especially because they're messing with the stubs. And I like that we got that little explanation of like, why call them stubs and not branches? And it's like, oh, it's so, you know, it justifies us in our heads that we mess with them and mess them up. It's not as bad. I suppose that's like, you know, how we do things. Trying to like, make things not... Like how you dehumanise someone to make the acts that you do, you know, the things that you say not seem as bad. And like, so that's a proper political thing to do.
So what do you think about her as a... Because there was a line that someone said in there that was something like...
Whatever you do, don't lie to her. You'll most likely find it impossible anyway. They have that ability, the higher level officers.
Just when you answer her, expect that she already knows the answer.
Yeah.
Do you think... Because they said something about her having some kind of power or special ability.
Well, it said all the police seem to know when you're lying.
Yeah.
But inspectors, the higher up you are, the more likely you are to know if someone is lying. Which leads me to believe... They mentioned they've all got AI chips, which makes chess unplayable now because everyone can predict it. So I wonder if the AI is scanning the other person's body as they talk, and you start to pick on like pulse changes and all this other stuff. Also, we don't know that these guys haven't invented some kind of like truth pheromone. They can make bees attack you. Why not something that forces you to tell the truth? You know, true. And you can see the fear in their eyes as she walks in. They're like, oh my god. Wilf's like, I'll just slip out, and like, yeah, she knows you're here, mate.
Yeah, she's definitely going to be one to watch for. But for me, I think there's another person to watch for, and that is our good old mate, Deputy Tommy.
You seem to...
do you know what? It's because he's been played to be, in the series so far, such a good character, such a good guy. You know, everyone loves him. He's a friendly neighbourhood sheriff, you know, deputy. And I think he's being pushed slightly. He's getting pushed back by Burton and Flynn, getting ignored by them. He's just made a bit of a mistake. And now he's got attacked, do you know what I mean, with that invisible car in the last episode. And then in this one, he spotted his sheriff's not on his side with the boots. He's he's gone to Burton to see what's going on, and Burton's basically said, "Go do one."
Yeah, but
I think he's going to go, you know what? I don't like this. And it's all building him. I reckon he's going to be one to take down someone.
I don't think he's going to be a bad guy. I think personally he's just trying to do the right thing. So when he's gone to Burton and said, "Tell him what's going on,"
Yeah.
Burton's telling him to go away because Burton doesn't want him to get hurt.
Yeah, of course.
But I think Deputy Tommy knows that, but I think he also knows something's going on. When Burton says to him, "There's greater forces at work," I think that's going to get him spinning. So I think, unlike you think he's going to go bad. I think Deputy Tommy might be the one to save the day.
I think he's going to go into investigation mode and try and figure out what everyone's hiding from him, and then by the time he gets to the end of that, he's going to become almost the bad guy. I reckon it's going to be like at least a 2 or 3 season progression. I don't think at the end of this episode.
You think he's going to, when you say the bad guy,
like Anakin in Star Wars,
you think he's going to be the bad guy, or you think he's going to be someone that tries to take down the main characters because they've done wrong technically by killing people?
Yeah.
So he's not a bad guy.
He's just type character.
Yeah. So you think he's just like a Punisher almost? Like
That's how I reckon him to be now.
That's cool. So the other fantastically played out scene. What did you think with Pickett and Bob? You know, the Pickett family and Bob. What did you think of all the scenes there, mate?
Do you know what? When I knew Pickett had Bob to begin with, everyone did. And when we saw him and he had the collar, I thought, okay, no problem. And he took that lunge. I didn't expect the wife to have the controller for some reason.
Yeah,
I love that kind of conversation they had where he was making him eat the meat. And
I love the fact that he's like, he gets the meat out, gives a bit to his wife. He's like, you know, it's like, say it. He's like, oh, you're right again. I love it. I love the fact he's like, like no matter what happens, he's like,
that's it.
He wants to make sure his wife knows that he's the better cook.
But then it obviously took an interesting turn when Pickett was off out gallivanting somewhere. He's then alone with his wife, Barb, and you can see the clogs turning about what he's going to do and what he's going to grab.
The way I saw it happening was I knew as soon as he mentioned the water and he got up to it and started heating it, I was like, they're both going to get electrocuted. Yeah. But it was the subtle thing that he grabbed her as she electrocuted him. So I think that completed the current. I'm not sure if the water alone would have been enough.
No, I think it would have been the electric current going through him and then into her.
But I think the water, obviously, his plan initially wasn't to get a hold of her. I think he just wanted the water to be on her to transfer it. But obviously, he sees eyes pop open right at the end. Do you think Bob's going to kill her? Or not?
I don't think he's going to kill her. No, I think he's got a soft spot. You know, because like, you know, when that person went against his daughter, John, the last one, he obviously that made him angry. So I think he knows that if he messes with Pickett's wife, Pickett's going to be 10 times.
I think. He thinks he's going to try and get some information to Pickett now for who these people are that are hiring him. Because I think he thinks that Pickett.
Do you reckon we can see an alliance?
Maybe, yeah, possibly.
Alliance,
I wonder if Pickett and Bob though are almost going to be like they're bad guys.
Yeah.
But they're also going to try and take on the people from the future. So we're going to get this weird thing where Flynn and the gang are trying to stop the people in the future, and then Bob and Thingy are also trying to stop the people in the future. It's going to get this weird thing, and obviously, the key thing here is this is a stub.
Yeah.
Can they stop the events that led to the essentially apocalypse in that world? Can they stop the?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I still think that's got a chance of happening.
Potentially. What did you think then, Steve? With that bit of a nice, it was a good scene of the series, wasn't it? The fish tank one.
Oh, it was good. I enjoyed it.
But what do you think about the other epic? Your Sweeney Todd moment, as you call it.
Oh my god, it was fantastic. You see them walk into the butchers. And you're like, where's this going to go? And he's like, and then Flynn kicks off like, I've heard so-and-so can make a better peripheral than you. And he's like, you can see his ears pick up. He's like, what you want? And then she's like, I think you better leave, else it's going to get messy. And she, it's back and forward happens. And they get downstairs and they start talking. And she's like, could you make one where you could replace it with human high?
And that was it.
And that was the point where
they knew who they were on about.
It just all went mental. Yeah. And that fight scene was epic. And you could just see Wilf in the background, just watching Alita fight. He's like, oh my god, look at her go. I think if he could have only been funnier if he had like a cigar and some whiskey while he was watching, just having a cigar and a whiskey.
But you know what? I enjoyed the fight scene, and especially where that woman spat blood on.
That was smart.
That made her twitch a little bit, made her eyes twitch. But it was good. It was a bit of the guy was doing a bit of spinning, unnecessary chopping, I think.
Yeah,
he could have stepped in a bit closer first. I don't know.
What I always want to know is Flynn a capable fighter, as standard, or is the peripheral enhancer, or is there some kind of AI as well?
No, I reckon it's like knowing how to play a game and be a good gamer, but in real life it's like, oh, I'm not the best. Yeah. Because they had the confrontation a few episodes ago with the snipers and stuff, and she panicked and she didn't know what to do.
Yeah, that's very true. I think
it is a peripheral, but then maybe, the longer you spend in it, do you learn certain traits?
Maybe. Well, if there's AI there, surely the AI can help you with the fighting. So yeah, I was a bit confused with what was going on there, but it was really good. And they mentioned that Elite is one of these people. It was like a Neo or something. I can't remember what it was. And I don't actually know what that is. And I'm like, I can't wait to find out what that is. But it sounded like these people you don't mess with. So I wonder how high up in that organisation or concept of people Elite is. And I think obviously Elite is safe, right? We don't know.
No one knows where Alita is.
She ran off, didn't she? So I think.
Well, on that, Alita's got she's got a few different. Well, we speculate she's got a few different peripherals because
definitely.
We stem back to our very first episode.
I was going to say the very first episode.
Yeah, you obviously see her in there as a child, and we've seen glimpses of Alita throughout the series, but we've never actually pinpointed on where she is or what time she is. Yeah, well,
we don't even know. Yeah, like you said, when they were at the God Font, we don't know that wasn't a peripheral then. Obviously, Dr. Newland could have been a peripheral the whole time. So why could it be that Alita has not also been a peripheral? And that leads us nicely onto the God Font stuff. So there was a little tiny scene, and it was in subtitles because they were speaking in like encrypted language, and they mentioned that the bacteria in Flynn's head is not the same. Is not happening in other ways. And they mentioned that the data might be stored in the bacteria, and that is the way they got it from one thing to the stub. So obviously, it's in Flynn's brain now.
Yeah.
How do they get that out? Have they got to kill Flynn essentially to get that data?
Yeah. That's where I'm the gravity gun.
Bring back the gravity. But yeah, and I thought that was an interesting thing, and it was such a little.
And is that the doing of Alita?
Yeah. Well, Alita made it look in the God Font. That's what when you said it hurt.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was the bacteria starting to develop in the brain.
Yeah, but I was going to say because but that was in Burton's Peripheral, wasn't it?
But if the machines themselves can force the bacteria to grow, that's the data transfer, isn't it? Because don't forget, her headset was.
Well, she was messing when she was messing with the peripherals for Connor's Peripheral. Burton's was in the bathtub, wasn't it? So that's why,
but that scene itself was so tiny and minute, and yet they seem to mention this bacteria and just got glossed over the rest of the episode. So I wonder if that's going to pop back up. I reckon it will. That was something a bit weird.
Right. Can't finish Steve without talking about our mate Connor. And I'm on trick shot watch.
You are on trick shot watch. We have a little counter popping up.
There was 2 trick shots in that episode. There was one where he just got off his bike and he threw it behind him. And then there was another one where he was in the kitchen, he was making breakfast, and he just threw a little around the saucepan.
Yeah,
boom, boom.
Sorry. Yes, he did the two, didn't he?
I'm on to you, Connor.
All I want to know is, mate, how much better would Connor be with like 2 arms?
Double trick shots?
Just throws 2. Also, speaking about Connor then, the legs, these new legs that he got sent, how good are these going to be? Because we're already in the future compared to now, in 2032.
Yeah.
So how much better are these new legs going to be? Because they're future tech.
Well, there was a real emphasis on, Flynn's already made me some legs. I've already got some. I'll try them later. He did not want to show what they can do there and then in that episode. So I reckon they are going to have a few secret attachments, whether that's enhanced speed, jump, whether it's like bulletproof gun holsters. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
I think it's Cyborg from the
let's see. One's going to detach into a gun.
I wonder if, because he's got the haptics, the legs connect, and he will have a sense of feeling from them.
Oh yeah,
he's already got the haptics, and don't forget, when you're in a peripheral, you can feel the peripheral.
Yeah.
So if those legs are made in a similar concept, can they hook into his haptics, and will he start to feel things? In which case, is there an arm in there as well? Because he can move a peripheral arm.
That's it, yeah.
Why would he not be able to move a robotic arm? So will he start to get feeling? And that's what I think.
He's going to become the first peripheral.
Yeah, maybe that's the key.
Yeah, maybe.
But I thought that would be that's something to look out for.
No, it's definitely something to look out for. That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that, mate.
Thanks.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining us again. We can't wait for episode 7. Check out some of the other stuff up here that we've done. We do lots of great stuff.
And let us know your thoughts in the comments on this latest Peripheral episode as well.
Yeah. Nice one, guys. Catch you soon.
Take care.